Well, on to this. As Brooke mentioned, the FBI director, he's now leading the federal investigation into the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy. It's actually, I should note, HSI, and FBI is in charge of the physical evidence, which they have custody of. We spoke with FBI Director Kash Patel about this and a whole lot more, like a decline in homicides and, get this, mass shootings and school shootings across the country. Now, the controversy about the Biden's FBI Arctic Frost, that's in there too, and a trophy that this team awarded themselves. Plus, the new probe into the election offices in Georgia that were searched this week. We taped this interview earlier in the week. Take a look. Let's bring in FBI Director Kash Patel, who joins me now. Director Patel, I want to start with the news, and the news is out of Fulton County, Georgia. I know this is an ongoing investigation, but the FBI on Wednesday did obtain a search warrant to look at this Fulton County election hub to access physical ballots, electronic ballot images, and voter rolls. Is there anything you can share at this moment?
Hey, Kaylee, it's great to be with you. Look, like any other investigation, the FBI follows the facts and the law, and President Trump and the Attorney General have given us clear mandate to reduce crime in this country and investigate anything that rises to the level of probable cause. And what we did, the FBI, with our partners at the Department of Justice and the AG, let out on an extensive effort to conduct interviews and an investigation, which led us to a probable cause to be delivered to a judge who found probable cause for us to execute that search warrant, which you saw and the nation saw yesterday. And what we did was what we do in any other investigation. We went in there, we followed the rules of the search warrant. The FBI and the DOJ went in and collected numerous pieces of evidence that the judge authorized us to collect. And what we're going to do next is go through the voluminous amounts of information collected and continue our investigation. At this point, there's not much more I can say publicly because we have to go through a lot more material, but it was predicated upon a finding of probable cause by a judge in Georgia.
Well, we'll continue to follow it. I want to move to the fraud that we have seen in Minnesota. Saturday in America has been all over this. Interviewed David Hoke multiple times, who was in that Nick Shirley video that drew the nation's attention to fraud in Minnesota. How long has the FBI under President Trump been on this?
With President Trump's leadership, he's been on this since day one. And let me rewind you back to the spring or summer of last year where I was on the ground in Minnesota myself. And I know you and your viewers care, as we do, deeply about protecting our children. And the first place we started, the FBI that is what we call with this program, Feeding Our Futures. And we discovered a monumental fraud in Minnesota where individuals in the community and outside the community were fleecing the government for hundreds of millions of dollars. And last summer, we arrested, with our partners at DOJ, 75 individuals pursuant to federal indictments. So that was some of the work that catapulted us into this large-scale fraud investigation that has now captured the nation, and we have not stopped. We've been there since day one, and we're going to continue until we meet it all out, and we've surged resources in Minnesota to make sure that no one swipes money from children or any other American, and no government official, if any participated in this, will be apprehended.
Did your predecessor, we know Chris Wray of the Biden administration, was he looking into this?
I can't speak for my predecessor. I can just tell you the work we've done under President Trump, which is historic levels of reduction in crime across the country. And that includes fraud, not just in Minnesota, but around the country. And it includes heavily investigating and following public corruption for those in elected office that break the law to rob America of their taxpayer dollars.
I want you to listen to this for a moment. This is Governor Tim Walz. He has said, that he was cheated. He has admitted that fraud took place, but he's trying to have it both ways. This is him on, I guess, what they call MS Now. Listen to this.
You mentioned this fraud investigation and the reason that they're here. Is there anything you think, when you look back, you could have done differently to prevent them from showing up and doing what they're doing here?
No, they were coming anyway. It was all make-believe that we'd been at it. Every state had this.
I mean, what we're seeing in Minnesota seems unique, or is it make-believe and this is happening in every state and jurisdiction?
Well, thankfully, every state does not have this problem. I don't have another statistic to give you where we arrested 75 individuals in one summer for hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud related to a program that's supposed to feed malnourished children in underprivileged families. So I don't know what he's talking about. That's pushing it under the rug. And also, a fraud of this size, there should be state and local authorities alerting the FBI early on and participating in our investigation. We went up there and did it with the federal authorities and the DOJ. DOJ, and we've continued to ask those in Minnesota and around the country of any information on this to let us know, because this investigation is not over. The size of the fraud continues to be exposed, and there will be more arrests coming.
Final question on this. A DHS source has told us that they have located $700 million in bulk cash by Somali couriers going through the Minnesota airport. By way of comparison, just $3 to $4 million goes per year through JFK and DFW. That number was over a 2-year period. Is this something that you're looking into, or is this solely in DHS's purview?
This is in DHS's purview, but of course, like any great interagency partnership, Secretary Noem and I and Tom Homan have a great partnership, and we're going to continue to collect information, and whether it falls into their lane of investigation or ours, we're going to make sure we put the resources necessary to expose those involved.
So I want to get to the great work of what the FBI does, and it's fighting crime. And by all means, you have been a resounding success. Homicides down to the lowest rate since 1900. Never thought I would see this when I was in Administration 1, the summer of love, they called it, and now look at these numbers. Mass shootings down to the lowest point in 20 years. I found out today, school shootings, the lowest point in 5 years. And as a mother, I'm very grateful to the work you guys have done here. I found this headline, New York City. There was supposed to be a school shooting. A young man posted on Instagram that he was going to shoot up a school. Within 2 hours, the FBI was in that New York City school, located a weapon in his backpack, and neutralized the threat. What do you credit to bringing down school shootings, something that has befuddled both the right and the left, but clearly not befuddled the Kash Patel FBI?
Well, the credit belongs to President Trump for backing law enforcement and giving us the resources and saying we're going to protect our children. You're right. It was a great effort in New York with the FBI and the NYPD and our private sector partners, who are also very important to giving us tips and information about it. And yes, we thwarted it there in New York. Similarly, we did the same thing in Indiana and in Texas. And thankfully, we were able to thwart these school shootings before they happened. And the FBI remains very vigilant in our tip lines. We've had 1,600 tips related to school shootings and possible school shootings last year alone, and we were able to work with our state and local partners. That's the key, Kaylee. We go out there with the FBI, we get with the cops on the ground and our interagency and DOJ partners and say, we are going to prevent this at all costs. And one of the things that we are doing is highlighting the work we've done to protect our children. Just this past year alone, under President Trump's leadership, we have found and identified 6,000 missing kids. That's up 22%. We have arrested, the FBI, 1,700 child predators. That's up 10%. And the following is maybe some of the most impressive work the FBI is doing. You are very familiar with the nihilistic, violent extremist community online, preying on our kids, forcing them to maim and mutilate themselves, and even sometimes commit suicide. We are up 490% in the number of FBI arrests for the NVE community, and specifically that 764 network that targets our children. We're up over 30% in arrests related to the 764 network. Wow. And the credit goes to the interagency and the men and women in the FBI working together with DOJ to bring these perpetrators to justice.
Wow, that's impressive. And as someone who, routinely covers these school shootings on Outnumbered every day at noon, and they continue to come, I want to thank you. That's a great service to our nation. I know we only have a few moments, but just two other things I want to get to quickly. You discovered a trophy there at the FBI. Arctic Frost was the operation under Biden that targeted Republicans. This trophy is so bizarre to me. The picture's up on the screen. It says AF Arctic Frost. They seem to be celebrating things with insignias. What is this that you found?
All this trophy shows is that the prior administration under Biden fully weaponized the system of justice. You and I know all too well about Russiagate. And this FBI under President Trump exposed Arctic Frost, which was the improper and, if not unlawful, surveillance of members of Congress and other people. And the folks that were in the FBI, and let me make one thing clear, these people are no longer here. They've been terminated. We found them, we exposed them, and we got rid of them. Instead of focusing on violent crime and protecting our children and protecting our national security, they were too busy making trophies. So we felt it appropriate to show literally what the Biden administration's FBI was doing versus the Trump. They're making trophies, and we're safeguarding our kids and our future.
Well said. And final question to you. Of course, everyone has been focused on Alex Preddy and the death of Alex Preddy. There's an ongoing investigation. I did catch a soundbite where Governor Walz said that he spoke with Tom Homan and that they would be in touch with you. The FBI's role in this, I know you said it's collecting physical evidence, but just to clarify the role of the FBI here, if you could.
Yeah, sure. Like any other shooting in any other volatile situation, we're working with our Department of Homeland Security partners because those involved in the shooting were HSI officials. So we're collecting information and we continue to follow the facts. And we'll continue as the FBI to lead any investigation where the facts predicate opening of criminal cases. And we're going to do that in conjunction with our Department of Justice partners. That's why the Attorney General was on the ground there this week, and the Deputy Attorney General and I were on the ground in Minnesota just last week or the week before. And we'll go wherever the facts lead us. We will hold everyone accountable.
Director Patel, thank you.